We'll do it live! Fuck it! Do it live!
Welcome to the Mouthpiece, episode 91, year 3, might even be year 4. Hey, today we're going to talk about my trip to Chicago, the NFL Week 4 coming up. I'm 11-4 in circa. And Major League Baseball playoffs are coming. We'll talk that. We'll talk poker. We'll talk all the things going on in the world. The Mouthpiece is next. What up, everybody? Welcome to the Mouthpiece, episode 91. All right, a lot of good things on the horizon. We got a new setup here at the Mouthpiece. So I'll be able to, we're back streaming live on YouTube, Twitch. Where else are we streaming? Twitter and Instagram. So we have a new little setup. Been working hard on it, and as you all know, I was in Chicago last week. The YouTube fucking commies fucking took down my channel for a week for something I said about the election a year and a half ago, of my opinion. You're not allowed an opinion anymore in the United States. It's communist rule. So anyways, so that is why we didn't have a Mouthpiece last week. Interesting trip I had. A lot of fun. Started it off in Wisconsin at my friend's house for 3 days. Weather was wonderful. He lives in a condo right on the river, which leads right out to the mouth of Lake Michigan. And we went out on the boat, cruised around, went. What they basically do is we drive down the river and we drive to pretty much all these little bars, and they kind of go bar hopping on the boat. Watched NFL football on Sunday. I have my so what I did basically, that was like on week 2, is I had my hotspot and I was watching Red Zone on my iPad while we were going to different bars on the boat. You know, I don't really drink. I think I drank 4 drinks in 3 days I was there. That's a lot for me. So we had fun. Let's see what else has been going on. Poker. So the trip started off, so it was 3 days in Wisconsin to have a little bit of fun. Then went down to Lake Geneva to meet Helmuth down there for a dinner and poker game. It was basically a prelude for the charity poker event that we did on Tuesday for the Holocaust Museum in Chicago. So we raised money. Truly some of the wealthiest people in the world. I mean, literally in one room. I'd say there was 150 people with, and again, I don't want to sound like Phil when I talk about money, but because I don't really care, but the net wealth in this room was probably over 50 with a B, probably close to 100 with a B. So these were really the wealthy of the wealthiest people. Very, very nice. We raised quite a lot of money for charity. It was a lot of fun. I think I made it down to the last 4 tables. I got it all in with 10s versus King 6 off. Flop game King 6. I think that's how I went broke in that thing. But we had a good time. It was a lot of fun. We raised a lot of money. So once I landed and we went out on the boat Friday. Then I went to the Milwaukee Brewer game Friday night. That was an amazing game. That was the game that the Yankees were up 5-0 after 2, and the Brewers won 7-6 in the bottom of the 9th. Truly an amazing game to watch. The people in Milwaukee are just amazing. I mean, everybody was so nice. I really, really, really enjoyed, talking with everybody and kind of hanging out with everybody. Let's see. So that was a good time. I then went to the back. We went back to the baseball game on Saturday. My friend Ferraro's good friend was doing this event to raise money. It was a tailgating event. So I did a lot of walking Friday, Saturday, which is probably the most walking I've done since my surgery. Friday, my leg kind of gave out, and I was really upset about it because when I fly, I have the pressure and depressurization of the cabin, which fucks up my whole entire spinal cord area. So I'm in pain a lot. So Friday was a disaster, but Saturday and the rest of the trip, my pain was pretty darn good. I had a couple bad days, which I always have, but overall, my health held up pretty good, and so had a good time. But I started off, I play this an app game on the app, and I started off on the trip. I wasn't even going to play, and I lose like 19,000 on the Saturday, Sunday, and then I play this big game in Lake Geneva, and I lose like 24,000, where I win like 3 pots in 8 hours. So I start off the trip down 43,000. I then I bounce back, and I end up winning 35 in my app game, and then 51 in the cash game on the Friday before I landed back to Vegas. So I stayed Thursday to Friday, 8 days, and so what started off as a negative 42,000, I then won like 84 straight and ended up winning 42,000 for my 8-day trip, which is pretty darn good. And so I was that put me probably up a total of maybe 60,000 since the series ended. And then I finally, after a long period of backlogging on my taxes, had to pay almost all of that to taxes. Well, pretty much all of it. I got that done yesterday, so my taxes are caught up. So I won't have to worry about going to jail. And so that's good. Pretty excited about that, actually. I hated giving the government a big chunk of money, but now they're all caught up. I'm truly just about out of debt. So things are good. I can't complain. Let's see what's going on. NFL. Let's flip over to the NFL. So if the stupid ass San Francisco 49ers last week wouldn't have grenaded that game against Denver, I'd be sitting 12-3 in the Circa contest and in like third place. Instead, I'm in 402nd out of like 7,000 people with 4 losses. But starting out pretty good. I've got me and my 2 partners. We got 6 cards. We have an 11-4, 2 10-5s, 2 9-6s, and 1 8-7. So 6 cards, all winners so far, and that's a pretty good start. It's shocking to me that 2 people are 15-0 in the circuit contest. I mean, to me, it's just beyond shocking, to be honest with you. And in the Westgate contest, the 2 leaders are 14-1. My best cards are 9-6 there. I had 1 card go 1-4 last week. It was a disaster. But we're still 8-7. So 9-6 cards sitting 203rd out of 1,500. So overall, you start off 60% or 70%. In the first 3 weeks, you got a shot. You got to keep it going, and hopefully this week we go 5-0. My pick of the week, and I don't know if you follow us on Twitter. I do the good, the bad, and the Helmuth with me, Phil, and Mark Gregorich. My pick of the week is going to be the Detroit Lions. I'm going to be laying the 4. I'm 1-2 in my. It's funny, as I'm 11-4 on in the Circa, right? And I'm 1-2 on my pick of the week. So 2 of my pick of the weeks are 2 of my 4 losses in that contest. So I don't know. Maybe you guys shouldn't follow my pick of the weeks and you should follow my other ones. But I like a lot this week. I think this week, tonight's game is the free. I don't bet, but I might make $1,000 bet on Cincinnati. I might. I don't know. But Cincinnati this week is, I think, one of the freest money spots you're going to have in the NFL this year. You have Miami coming off a brutal game where they were on the field for 20 extra minutes in 100-degree heat. They were completely outplayed by Buffalo. Somehow they won that game. They got to turn this around on 3 days rest against a team that blew out the Jets. I think that Miami comes flat, and I really believe you're going to see a 27-10, 31-10 shellacking by Cincinnati tonight. I think it's a very, very good spot. I mean, technically speaking, it would probably be my good, the bad, and the Hellmuth pick of the week. Would be Cincinnati. But I don't want to give out Thursday games anymore because there's so many injuries that happen, and so I really like Cincinnati tonight. I think that they're a really, 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 really good play. I think that you could just go against Seattle the entire year. You know, as I told you before the year started, we have 3 preseason. Right now, it's not off to a good start. We have over Cincinnati 9.5 for 5K. I've got over San Francisco for 5K. They've somehow given away 2 games. So I have over 9.5 them, and then I have under Seattle for 5K, under 6. I love that pick. Even when they won the first game over Denver, I still lied. They stink. They're terrible. So those are my 2 favorite picks of the week. It's Detroit and Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati is such a good play tonight. Unfortunately, the line got away. It was 3.5. It's up to 4 now. I was looking at these things. I was just looking at it. I wonder what the money line pick in this thing is. I wonder what you can lay the money line. Do they have a money line? Let's see. Money line. Here we go. Money line. So you got to lay 2 to 1. I don't like laying 2 to 1. But I think Cincinnati on the money line tonight is just pretty good money. We'll see. Luckily, I don't bet. I watch these things every week, and I tell myself, God, thank God I don't bet this shit no more. It's just so unbelievable. Yeah, Lions 3-0 versus the spread. I like them again this week. I think they go to 4-0 versus the spread. But just likely out. Haven't practiced all week. Okay. Like I said, I haven't even looked at the injuries. That's another reason why I'm glad you put that up there about Swift and Emon not practicing this week. I agree. Cincinnati needs to get Joe Mixon involved. It seems to be a severe, severe problem for them. And let me make this announcement. I do agree with you. If the Bengals don't get Mixon involved, they're going to be in trouble. Don't think, going to politics, it's pretty obvious who blew up the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. I mean, I can't say it. They'll call it disinformation and take down my channel again. So you can't even speak. But, this is... You got to remember, wartime presidents get reelected. The election is coming up. They're purposely starting shit with the Russians. I don't even want to get into politics. Anyways, poker was a good week. Let me see. Can I make this smaller? Yeah, okay. I can make this smaller so I can see everything that's going on. There we go. 75% consider Biden the worst president of all time. I don't know who could be worse. Am I allowed to say that without our channel getting taken down?
You can say that.
I can say that? You sure? But it's just, they might say it's disinformation.
It's not disinformation.
You sure?
I don't know.
Are you sure it's not disinformation? I mean, what if somebody thinks he's the greatest president of all time, and then they just put it in there?
That's right. You can't say opinions.
You can't say opinions. All right, it's very important to know what we can say. Let's see what else is going on. So you guys, how you guys like the new setup? Does it look good? Hope it all looks good. Danny's been working on it for like 2.5 days. Yeah, I know. I can't say anything. Got to watch everything I say. If you haven't played at the home game, email mouthpoker@yahoo.com. $250 in chips for 200. Email mouthpoker@yahoo.com. So the home game is still going. We're over 2 years in. I like, we like playing on it. It's fun times. Shout out to all the people who play my home game. Chicago game, shout out to Luis, thank Alex, Todd, who else was in it? Sobe, all the people I play with in Chicago, Jeremy. We had a good time. Thanks for the invite. Shout out to Rivers Casino for hosting us. Hopefully I'll be doing some meetup games at Rivers Casino here in the future. Hopefully by the end of the month. I'll also be, Phil announced today, we're doing October 20th at Hustler Casino. So I'll be probably playing on that stream with Phil's having all his haters on there that make fun of him. So it should be pretty good. Phil's supposedly buying in for $300,000. I'll be buying in for $10,000 because I don't give a fuck what people think about me. I'm there to win. They can sit there and see whose dick's bigger. I really don't give a fuck. I just care about winning. So I'm not looking to show everybody that I'm the greatest poker player in the world. I'm looking to go in there and have people give me their money. So that's all I care about. Thanks, bro. Glad you found my channel. So let's see, what else am I missing? Chicago, NFL, baseball playoffs coming up. Hope my Dodgers can get it done. Manager guaranteed a World Series victory before the year started. I'm very concerned. I'm not so sure the Dodgers have the team to win a 7-game series over Atlanta or the Mets. I think the Astros are a stone mortal lock to win the American League. The Yankees, I don't think they have a lineup or the pitching. So baseball playoffs coming up. I'm hoping the Dodgers get there. I'd love to go to another World Series. And that's about it. Let's see. The Poker Masters is going on. I was thinking about playing the other day, playing the 8-game mix. I decided against it. Let's see. I don't know. My body. I don't feel like sitting in poker from noon till 1 in the morning. 13 hours playing poker tournaments. It's just, I do it for the World Series because, well, it's just fun. You know, I hate poker tournaments. I truly hate poker tournaments. I'm good at them, but I just, it's just too much for me. I just like playing where I win, you know. I like winning. I like putting in, I don't know. I mean, if you play high enough and you don't have to play, you only have to play like 8 days a month to make yourself good money. I don't know. I'm getting old, man. It's tough to grind. It's tough to grind every day. Poker's tough, man. So, you know, I finally invested in Bitcoin and it crashed. I lost 50% of what I put in, or 60%, because that's what I do. So anybody who, the Phillies did lose today, huh? And the Brewers, like, oh, by the way, last night I told my friend, and I actually bet 1,000 on it. I bet late $1.59. The Brewers had Woodruff on the mound, and St. Louis had just clinched the day before. They were in Milwaukee, and they were drinking all night. I said, this is the freest money in the world, and they blew them out. That was yesterday. The Phillies just keep losing. It's unbelievable. So, yeah, that was That was actually my first baseball bet I made this year. So I thought it was just a perfect spot. Best pitcher on the mound. Must-win game for Brewers. St. Louis drinking all night in Milwaukee. And I was just in Milwaukee, so I know when you go out in Milwaukee and start drinking. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. Yeah, I saw Biden looking for the dead lady in the crowd yesterday. That was pretty... he doesn't know where he's at. It's sad. In all fairness, I don't want to make fun of it. I mean, you have the president of the United States should be in an old age home, and instead you have them propping him up as I don't even know what they're doing. It's horrifying, actually. So it is what it is. Where did this window just go? Oh, here's this window. Where'd the chat window just go? Man, this really is clear, bro. Look, I see myself now. Look how nice this is. It's like a whole different thing. Where'd my chat window go?
You lost your chat?
Yeah, it went goodbye. Look how clear this is, buddy.
Oh, no, that's not it.
I did. I went from that to there, and this came up.
I don't know what you did with it.
Well, I didn't do anything. It just decided to disappear. No. Look how clear this is, bro. I like it.
It's a whole nother window.
Oh, it's a whole new window. Well, get my chat back up. I want to talk to my guys. Don't look here. This was just on, and there.
Back to
Click
that. Go down.
down.
Oh, wait, back up.
Here.
Up.
Here.
Up.
Here.
Right there.
Here.
Yep. Open browser.
Open browser. Hooray, the chat is waiting for new messages. Oh, here we go. All right, here we go. Let's see. What's up, guys? Let's see.
Just talk to them.
You want to open up the phone lines there, everybody?
Sure.
All right, let's do phone calls for an hour. Then we'll watch some football. Cincinnati Bengals tonight, -4. Print your free money. I will not be betting because I don't bet. Well, I might bet 1,000 because I might bet the 1,000 I won on the Brewers last night. I haven't decided yet. I really think the Bengals are just a literally once in a lifetime spot tonight. But I like to bet her at 3.5, and I wanted to buy it down to 3, than 4. But I really believe they win 27-10. It might even be worse than that. I think if you can get an alternate line where you can lay like 10 and get plus like 2-1, I really think the Bengals are going to light them up tonight. Again, I think it's just a once in a lifetime spot. Team coming off an extremely physical game in brutal heat. Haven't practiced all week. They've been giving them time off. The other time had an easy game. Cincinnati now 6 consecutive quarters where they've dominated. Second half against Dallas and all week against the Jets. I really, really hope that Mixon could rush the ball tonight and they'll be okay. Anyways, all right, let's take some phone calls.
The Mouthpiece.
If you'd like to take part in our phone call segment, you can give us a call at 702-329-0480. And if you're a snowflake or a pussy and you don't want to talk to me, you can email me at mouthpiecepodcast@gmail.com. Also, follow me at the Mouth Matiso on Twitter for times that our call-in segment will be live. 702-329-0480. Give us a call. We'll talk some football. We'll talk some poker. We'll talk poker streams. We'll talk poker cheats. We'll talk baseball playoffs. NBA coming up. NHL coming up. Will my Lakers make the playoffs? They're calling it the lack of respect, and they're on a mission, and blah, 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 blah. Good luck. The Lakers have no depth, no defense. I don't see it. I mean, I think they'll make the playoffs if they stay healthy, but Other than that, I have no idea what's going to happen. 702-329-0480. Give us a call. We'll talk about whatever you want. We talk about my home game. We'll talk about poker. We'll talk about football. We'll talk about whatever you want. Welcome to the Mouthpiece. This is Mike.
Hey, Mike, what's up? How's it going?
Good, man. What's going
on? Not much. Just started playing poker a little bit again, and I was wondering, do you ever play any of those World Series of poker circuit events? There's one coming to town. I was thinking about playing the Maine. They got like a 1700 and stuff like that. You ever played those?
I've never played them. I have a couple friends that have played them that have won rings. People who I think can't even spell poker, so I think they're pretty soft. I know about 4 rings won by people who I can't even put them in. I put them at about a 4 on a scale of 1 to 10 as poker players. So I think they're pretty soft. If they can win, I'm sure you could win. So that's my opinion on them. I have not played in any of them at all. So it's not that I don't like to play on them. It's like I said, it's hard for my body to play them. Like even I love streaming, right? Like even doing the podcast, we do it for an hour and a half a day. But if I sit in this chair for 8 hours, my whole body just hurts. Especially when I'm playing clicking. For some reason, when I click the mouse, it doesn't. You would think like clicking a mouse doesn't really do much, right? But you've heard of the thing like people who are on the computers all the time clicking their mouse for 8 hours a day, they get the nerve behind their shoulder will hurt them from clicking the mouse. Well, I already have an injury behind my shoulder, so if I click it for like 4 hours, I get just my whole entire shoulder gets inflamed, and then I get pain down my leg and into my foot. So, I mean, honestly, I thought that it was going to be great that streaming some of these all these tournaments. But it's just too hard for me. Let's see. I mean, I think there's actually a WSOP event tonight.
Okay.
But I'm not going to stream it or anything. I think.
Yeah. You playing it? You playing anything live, or are you just waiting for the World Series, or what do you got going on?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I just play WS during the World Series of Poker. It's just too hard for me to. It just is. It's just too hard on my body. Let me see.
Right.
Let me see what's. I'm gonna try and log in here and see if what's going on in the. I think they have a bracelet event tonight. Let's see what they have. Tournaments. All right. I mean, I would love to play these things. They seem like they'd be fun. So it says we have, well, I don't see any bracelet events. I guess they're done with them.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, I just thought call and say hi. Thanks for answering. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for your feedback on the circuit.
Yeah, you're right. Here it is. It starts in 1 minute. There's a $365 bracelet event. Here we go. No limit hold'em. Late registration for 2 hours and 55 minutes. So, it's starting right now. There's 71 people. You get 40,000 in chips. Blind level, 25.50. 10-minute level or 9-minute levels, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'll play. Who knows? So I appreciate you calling. Go check out some these circuit events. Like I said, I got friends that have been winning in them, and I'm sure you play better than they do.
I don't know about that, but yeah, I'm thinking about playing 4 or 5 of them. If I think anything, I'll give you a call back. Appreciate it.
You got it, my man. Thanks for calling. Appreciate it.
All right.
Have a great
weekend.
Yeah. Later.
Have a great one.
You got it. I don't know what I need. What kind of but I'm always leaning forward in it. Forward would be better. I don't know.
Hello, it's Michael.
Welcome to the Mouthpiece, Michael. It's Mike Matiso.
Hey, thanks for calling me back, man.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I just wanted to go over 2 things, 2 quick questions for you. I want to know your opinion on the all these software sites like ACR and GG. They're using the heads-up displays, the HUDs, and that's what feeds all the data to RTA.
Mm-hmm.
And now everyone's using it. Why don't they ban these heads-up display and data collections and just play on 888 software like WSOP.com?
I
'Cause
mean,
now everyone's getting the RTA now.
of course they are.
So.
It's a disgrace. The fact that they're giving bracelets for playing online. I mean, the people come to town, they play online events, and for bracelets, they get 10 of them. Everybody comes to town. They rent out a house, 9 of them. They all play in the tournament. If they get deep, they all play in the same room. And if one of them makes the final table, they're all there helping each other, and they're giving out bracelets. It's pretty disgraceful. Bracelets don't mean nothing anymore. They're absolutely worthless.
Do you feel like it's a simple solution if they just get rid of the HUDs and the data collection,
everything,
and using it on the website? Why don't they just get rid of that?
It's all a simple solution, but they want to bring as many people in as they can. They don't care about the integrity. It's about money, you know. It's I don't even want to get into it because it gets me too upset, you know. But especially like people, they just banned a couple people from Poker Go Studio for cheating. I just think I'm not sure if a lifetime ban was the right thing, but I definitely felt they should have got at least a few-year ban. I don't think there's any room for any poker cheats in any form of poker at any given time. So that's just my opinion. And with all the software, it's funny as back in during the Full Tilt days, there was so much cheating going on, and I used to bring it up all the time, and they would just rush it under the rug, and now the software is so more advanced that it's. You got to remember, people kill people in 7-Elevens for $40. What do you think they're going to do when they're playing an online poker? And it's just so easy to use HUDs. It's easy to use. They have artificial intelligence that plays absolutely perfect poker at all times. Do you really want to?
Yeah, but it uses all the data that the HUDs are collecting.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think they should ban it, and WSOP should cut ties with GG because they use that shit. But WSOP.com does not. None of those guys are winning on WSOP.com.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So listen, I listen. I don't want to say anything bad about GG because of my affiliation with Daniel as a good friend of mine. I've been telling him for years. He says they're working on it and trying to make things better. Before Daniel was involved, GG was a very sinister site. It was very. There was so much cheating going on there. And then, once Daniel got involved, they tried to become a legitimate site, which they have. But like I said, it's.
Well, the state of Nevada won't regulate them, so that's where I stand.
Well,
yeah.
You know
what I mean?
I don't want. I'm a little shocked that WSOP is so involved with GG. You'd think they'd be better off being involved with Party or Poker Stars, who have been, top notch out of the country for such a long period of time. But listen, the fact that they are involved, it's, I have nothing really bad to say. I know my opinion of certain things that can become better, but. I'm sure Daniel's said his piece, and he can only do so much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. Now, you mentioned Full Tilt. This is going to lead into my last question. It's probably 15, 16 years after all this happened.
Mm-hmm.
But why does everybody give Chris Ferguson such a fucking hard time? If they read the federal indictments and all the affidavits, The guy was never accused or convicted of anything, and he gave 33% restitution within 4 days of the federal government doing an investigation.
I've always been
all these guys in the chat. They need to quit fucking talking shit because Chris Ferguson was never
I've always
accused
stuck
or
up for
convicted
Chris.
of anything.
I've always
so why
stuck
does
up for
everyone
Chris.
fucking hate the guy?
I don't know. I've always stuck up for Chris. Chris is guilty of letting a bunch of fucking retards run his fucking company. That's what he's guilty of. And he paid the price for it. And so I've always...
I just don't know how a guy can get such a bad rap when he was never convicted or accused of anything, but paid financial restitution for other crooks.
I've always had Chris's back. So I'm on your side when it comes to this. That's all.
All right, man. Hey,
thanks for calling.
Take it easy.
You have a great one.
Bye.
Have a great weekend. Thanks.
You too. Bye.
All right. Welcome to the Mouthpiece. 702-329-0480. I agree with them 100%. They need to lighten up on Chris. I love Chris. Good guy. Danny, do me a favor. Get me a drink in my fridge. It's on the left side. Give me the raspberry, black raspberry. It's on the. As soon as you open that fridge, it's right on the left. It's in the left compartment. It's in the door of the refrigerator. So, yeah. 702-329-0480. It's been a couple weeks since we've been here. I told you I plan on having Mouthpiece every Thursday night between 3 and 4 p.m. That's what we plan on doing. We plan on giving out our pick of the week in football. We plan on going over poker for the week. I have been playing a lot, and playing live is a lot of fun to me. I really enjoy it. Gets me out of the house. Going. 2 weeks after Flash passed away, it was really hard on me. So going down there was really, really good. I can't complain. It was really, really good for me. I really enjoyed those the baseball games. I went to the Milwaukee Yankees series, and that was a lot of fun. I really did well in one of the key pots I win on the last day I was in town. It went raise. I got re-raised to like 1,600. It was a really quick re-raise. I said, this guy's got ace queen or ace king. I just felt everything in my gut. He had ace queen, ace king. I called with 2 7s. The flop come down 7, 5, 3. Pretty good flop. He bets like 3/4 pot. Not that it mattered, but I'm like, he's got ace queen. I'm sure of it. I call. He says, Mike, what are you going to do with those 8s or 9s? He says to me. Now the turn card come 3. I have 7s full. He bets like really big. Another 2/3 pot probably. So that was like 4,000 or something. 3,600. And I called, and the river card comes a king. And he says, all in, and I snap call him. And he says, you got it. I knew he had ace queen. He had ace queen, by the way. And so I win like 15,000 in that hand. It's really weird. So I went like 15 there, 8 here, 3 here, 6 here. Somehow I won 51,000 in the game. I don't even really know where I won him at. You know what I mean? And I don't think I lost one hand that I paid off. It was really an amazing session last day in town. Welcome to the Mouthpiece. This is Mike. What up?
Hey, Mike. What's up, man?
What's up? Who's this?
Hey, this is Dave.
Hey, Dave. What's going on?
What's up, man? Hey, did you see that thing last night on Hustler? Garrett and Ivy dropped, like 250,000 and almost 200,000.
Well, I didn't really. They had like, because my friend Ryan Feldman runs the stream, and we play together every day. So I did tune into the stream for about an hour, and they had kicked it up from 1-2-4 to just a straight 4-8 game. And so I noticed there was like 4 people up 100 and some other people down 100 or whatever. And they're like, "Oh, it's so amazing. We have 4 people up 100,000." I'm like, "You're playing 400, 800. What the fuck's 100,000?" I mean, it's like what, 120 big blinds or something. So, but I did kind of watch a little. I watched Garrett on a few hands, and I'm sure Garrett's a great poker player. I don't want to take nothing against him, but he's just like all the rest of them. He gets stuck and he tilts. I mean, I watched him get stuck and just start pressing and pressing. I watched him call this huge, like $27,000 3-bet. Guy was as tight. That Dustin guy was as tight as a fucking knit as can be. I mean,
Yeah.
with 8-7 of diamonds or 6-8 of diamonds, right? And I'm thinking to myself, like, to call 27,000 with 6-8 of diamonds. I mean, the guy's got to probably have like at least 300,000 behind him. I mean, maybe he did have close to that, but even then, I mean, I didn't like it. Then he calls 19,000 on the flop for a gutter ball. I just thought it was just. And then I just watched him press. So I mean, here's a guy.
Yeah.
Again, I like Garrett a lot, and I've always got along with him, and I've always thought he's a really good player. So I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but but Ryan always puts him in position to succeed. He's always playing against really bad players. I mean, for some reason,
Yeah, right.
For some reason, Garrett and Andy just get to play against all the fish in the world. And I joke around with Ryan a lot, like, hey, how much do these guys? How much percent do they give you to hook them up these games? Jokingly, because he doesn't get anything, by the way. But I used to joke around, just like, how much this guy should be, giving you a big piece. But I always watch Garrett. He's always winning. Like when this was like the first time I saw him losing, and I thought he was pressing. And he was only like 128 loser when I turned it off. So you saying he lost $250,000 last night?
Yeah, he didn't look good.
He was off this game. And again, people have bad days. I have days where I do not play well. I never, but one thing I don't do is and maybe I have once in a blue moon, but I don't remember, have days where I'm mentally affected by me losing and I start playing bad. You know what I'm saying? I thought Garrett was off last night. He bluffed Andy off those kings the one time.
Yeah.
But in all honesty, God, I mean, if he gets called there, I mean, he loses like $500,000. You know what I'm saying? That would have been, there was 87K in the pot. He moved all in 296. The way that hand went down, I mean, like, I don't think he had any sevens in his range. And yeah, he could have a jack in his range, but like, why go for the 3x overbet when it went check turn, check river? I thought that in my mind, it feels a little bit fishy, the bet sizing. I think I might have been able to sniff it out. Yeah, it's a tough spot because you only beat a fucking bluff. But again, you got to take into account of Garrett was off of his game. I only watched this for an hour, so I watched those few.
Yeah, what I was surprised about was, Ivy was down, like 50, 60, 70,000, but right at the end there.
Yeah, that's what I saw. That's when you told me Ivy lost 250. What was the hand?
Eric Person had a jack 5, and then he punted. He punted on that one hand with ace queen.
So tell me the hand that Ivy got crunched at the end. I only watched it for like 45 minutes. What was the hand?
Oh, it was like, I'm sorry, but I could have played that hand better than him. I'm serious, man, and I'm nobody.
I know. Tell me the hand.
He had ace queen. I can't remember if it was suited on the button. Okay, and Eric Person up front, raises with jack 5 hearts. Okay.
Okay.
So
did he call or
I
did he
think
three bet
I
the
think
button?
Ivy three bet him.
Okay.
Eric Person calls with Jack 5. The flop comes 1 heart with a Jack and a Jack 10 something. So he's got a Jack. So Person bets in there, and he pulls on the turn. He gets another heart, and he bets again, and Ivy calls, and then I think on the river he pulls a Person pulls another heart, so he's got a flush.
But Ivy has no pair?
Ivy's got no pair, nothing.
Well, what I just want to
Okay.
know, what does he think that? Here's a question, and again, I think Phil Ivy's the greatest player I ever played with, so I will never ever doubt his abilities. But like, okay, you get a 3-bet pot, right? Comes Jack 10 high, and the guy leads into you. What are you beating? You're beating King Queen, precisely. Well, you block a queen. I hate saying the word block because you know me, I'm against blockers and hold them. But what the chances of him? You're beating one hand when he leads into you after you 3-bet. You're beating basically King Queen. I mean,
I didn't think.
I mean, me personally, I would have probably floated the flop when he leads into me. When he bets the turn, I just would have given it up. I mean, that's me.
He bets 29,000 on the river. Person does, and Ivy's ham hawing around, and then Person says to him, he says, "I'll show you a card for 10 grand."
Mm-hmm.
Then out of the clear blue, less than a second from that, Ivy throws out 100 grand. Raising the guy 70 grand.
Oh, he
And
raised
then
him. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it was like.
Which
it was
card
the
did he
punt-
show?
I
Did he
thought it
show
was
him? Did he show him a card? Did he show him like the 5 of hearts?
No, he didn't. Before he even got a chance to deal on that 10,000 for a card, after he said that, boom, he throws out the 100 grand.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was like, did anybody see what I just
the truth
fucking saw?
Here's the truth of the matter is, right? If it's a listen, the storyline makes a lot of sense. If Persons didn't have a flush, he's probably going to win the hand. You see what I'm saying? You can't be results oriented from what you see. Okay, so poker is about telling a story, correct? So,
yeah, I guess. Yeah.
So let's analyze the story you told me. Okay, flop comes Jack 10 rainbow. He leads in. He calls. Okay, now it comes a heart on the turn. 2 hearts on a turn. Now he leads in again. He calls. Now the river comes. I guarantee you, Ivy obviously had the ace of hearts in his hand, correct? For sure he did, 100%.
No, I don't. I think there were 2 black aces. They were black. Both of them were.
I don't know. I don't think Ivy would do that in that spot. I think he would have the ace or the
I'll have to
queen.
look at it again, but I don't think he had a red. Ace queen, there was no red.
Go see if you can look that up and let me know. But
I'll let you know.
Let's just say if Ivy does have the ace or the queen of hearts, I mean he leads the flop, right? So there's a black there's a black jack out there, or red. It could be the red jack. I'm not sure, right? If it's the red jack, which it probably was, because it probably went heart and no, he had Jack 5 of hearts, so it couldn't have been the red jack. I don't know. Ivy just felt like, okay, comes heart. The guy's weak because he led into him after the 3-bet. If you're real strong, you're going to probably check raise. So again, you gotta think about not what you were looking at, but the story you're telling. Okay, you know your player. You know when your player leads out. Okay, but he probably has a jack, right? Now all of a sudden you call, and you're playing deep enough. Now a guy bets the turn. A heart comes on the turn. You call again. Now remember, you've 3-bet this flop, so you easily could be sitting on queens, kings, aces, right?
Yeah.
The thing is think about if he doesn't have, which he didn't have he only had the jack of hearts. If he doesn't have the queen, king, or ace of hearts in his hand, that's a pretty tough call. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he had a flush, so I'm sure he fucking snap called Ivy, correct?
Oh yeah, he snap called him. You know, it was a backdoor flush too.
Right. But I get it. I understand Ivy's thought process. I personally, if you watch Person play, he doesn't like to fold. So me against a guy like Person, I'd be letting them just take down a lot of these small ones, and then I would just wait to trap them on the big ones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, whenever that person starts talking about his hand, or offer money to see a card, he's got it.
Yeah, I've noticed every time he starts talking, do you want to see a card? He's always had it. Even like he got Garrett to call him when he had the stone nuts, when he showed the 7 of diamonds. Yeah,
and I said, no way is Garrett going to call this.
Think about, what does he beat? What does he beat? But he also says to himself when he shows the 7 of diamonds, right? He's basically saying, what hand do I have, right? And basically he's saying, I have 7-8 of diamonds, even though he had 7-8 offsuit, right? So, and he's like, well, he's not going to make this big bet with a pair of 7s. You see what I'm trying to say? But, I mean, come on. When the guy's showing that card, that's a card that basically is making you want to call. I mean, when he's telling you pick a card, that means he's not afraid of any of them. And there's no way, like, oh, he just happened to pick the 7 of diamonds, so now all of a sudden he puts them on, like, 7x of diamonds, right? Well, why can't it be 7-8 of diamonds? You know what I'm saying? I just think that's just an easy fold. I thought that was a horrible call. The way you described the Person hand, I actually like Ivy's play in this spot. I mean, he can't put him on backdoor hearts. How do you like it this way? What if it fucking doesn't come? What if it doesn't come heart, and now he bets the jack and he gets raised on the river? How does he like Jack 5? He can't beat anything. See what I'm saying? So don't look at the hand in a way of I could have played it better. Top players, they have a plan. Okay, it's just like I got so much shit for my blow up in the main event from the rail, but all the top poker players in the world thought it was the greatest bluff ever. So, because I just have no bluffs in my range. Yeah,
you make an excellent point there. That's why I'm not a top player. As you can tell.
Yeah. So I actually kind of like his play there on the end. Yeah,
I get what you're saying now. I was thinking, like, what?
The thing is Ivy can have ace, king, ace, queen of hearts, right? Ivy's.
Yeah, I think so.
Ivy's not going to raise the river with a pair of aces or kings. I mean, he might if he thinks he just has a weak jack. Ivy's capable of doing that. Ivy's capable of doing anything. He's so fucking good. So, I'm not result. The thing is when you play high stakes poker, you can't be so results oriented. See, a lot of people give, Phil's like my second best friend in life, and people give Phil such a hard time. And so I won 31 straight times on a live stream. Okay, congratulations, right? It's like that it just doesn't mean anything. It's, did you make the right play in the right spot? You know what I'm saying? Ivy felt that he had a weak jack, and Ivy felt that he could take it down with a raise. He never could have thought he went backdoor hearts, because what backdoor hearts does he have? Does he really have jack something of hearts? And I could never. You can't really. You have to understand, like in the world of high stakes poker, when you're playing deep, when people, like in all reality, when he leads the flop, leads the turn, and the heart comes on the river, like he's supposed to check call all jacks, all 2 pairs. Okay, so when he bets out, it's just kind of like with the guy that raised me with the small flush. When the board's paired, he's never supposed to raise me with the small flush because it's like he's only getting called by a hand that beats him. I'm never going to call him, but I decided that the board's paired. I had a great image, and I could have queens full, fours full, kings full, nut flush. I mean, nut flush I'm moving in myself because I knew he couldn't possibly be full. So, when people make when they put you in a spot where you can be outplayed, the good players know the correct play when they're supposed to check call rivers and they bet. And in Ivy's situation, when he bet, he wasn't supposed to bet there because there's only he has no flushes in his range except like jack something of hearts. So Ivy, he gambled that he didn't have the jack something of hearts, and he was wrong. So I don't fault his play.
Yeah.
There. I did not like Garrett's play call with the ace queen. I thought it was horrific, but the way you described that play with Ivy, I just thought he went for it in a spot and was wrong, and it happens all the time. So that's just part of the game.
I mean, I don't know. It's like,
yeah.
I don't know. It's just, you know, I mean, I thought he played all night long. I mean, he was
Ivy usually plays real
thought it was-
solid. Ivy doesn't really go for bluffs that often. I mean, in this day and age in poker, he plays fundamentally sound. You know, he bluffs a little bit, you know, but he's not. He's fundamentally sound. You watched him play solid all night, and it was towards the end of the night. He thought he saw a spot that he was right about, and he was wrong. And listen, I go with my instincts. If my instincts tell me that, I guarantee you. I mean, you might be right, but if you go look at that tape, you're going to see that Ivy probably had the ace of hearts in his hand. You know, I wouldn't be shocked. But if he didn't, you know, I still don't fault him. He went with his gut. So, all right. Well, I appreciate you calling. You have a great weekend.
Yeah,
and,
no, thanks a lot for the analysis.
Yeah, go Bengals tonight. That's it. Talk to you later.
Yeah. Okay. Take care.
Later. 702-329-0480.
Hello?
Hey, welcome to the Mouthpiece. Is Mike.
Well, hello.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Getting ready for the weekend.
Yeah. Well, first off, I don't even know how to begin. I'm super stoked to be on this call.
Oh.
Because first of all, I love you to death, and
thank you.
I love Hellmuth to death, and I've been one of Hellmuth's biggest defenders over the years.
Yeah.
I always stand up
I'm
for
good at
him,
no limit hold'em.
and you know, I see him as just this really awesome, good human being, and
Yeah,
he's
he's a good guy.
accomplished so much. So, anyways, I just want to give him props because he's just such a positive influence. And
Yeah, he really is. And, you know, we, it's funny you said it. So, like last night, I was going to bed early because I wanted to try and stay. I got myself on a pretty good sleep schedule. I want to be getting up for the football games. Instead of going to bed at 6 a.m. and waking up at 10, I was trying to go to bed around 1 o'clock. So I fall asleep at like 1 o'clock, and he calls me about literally 10 minutes after I fall asleep, crying, whining how he was 20,000 winner and he ended up losing 1,000 in this game and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, and so now he wakes me up, and me and him are pretty close. So, but, you know, he's a very positive person, and a lot of people ride him for a lot of things a lot of flaws that he has. And, you know, listen, they don't understand like the good things he does. So I appreciate, you know, I'm sure he appreciates that too.
Yeah, I think what I see over the years from a distance, because I don't know either one of you personally, but what I see is I see big changes in you. I recognize that, and I feel like he's this positive influence in your life, and even as somebody who doesn't know the two of you, I can see it. And you know, and so anyways, I was adopted, so I found my family
Awesome.
7 years ago. Yeah, and I have a mom and sisters and everything, and two living grandmas that are pushing 100, and but you know, over the years, you know, through online crap or whatever, you know, I've always been known as Vicky, and until I legally changed my name to the name my mom gave me, which is Abigail Indigo. But I was always just, you know, anytime I was in a stream or something, in a blog or whatever, I was always standing up for him. And I don't know if he's ever seen it, but it means a lot to me to say to all of us, because we're all in the same boat. I always say we kind of, in a way, share the same wallet in poker. And so camaraderie is a big thing. So 15 years ago, when I first played, in Tunica, I saw Jamie Gold there, and there was other notable people there, and I didn't know anything, but the camaraderie was really amazing. And what I see nowadays is I just see a lot of people that, like I always say, if Helmuth wants to toot his horn, then toot away, because he can back it with the stats and the proof. He has accomplished, winning and titles, and he's accomplished so much, and he puts so much of himself into it, and is a good husband and everything like this. So,
yeah,
so
I mean,
see
that's a
in the
good point.
community-
I'm glad you said that. A lot of people don't realize. I mean, Phil has been with the same woman since he was like 21 years old. He's probably one of one poker players that have never cheated on their wives, and he's had many chances to. He's been, and it's just and that to me that means a lot. I mean, when
it means a lot, and what you're saying right there. That's why as a woman, I always saw that, and he's just been this, this man of character. I feel, he has his moments, but who doesn't? I mean, who doesn't face everything that we all face through hands and sessions and grinding, and and who doesn't get pissed, and who doesn't lose it, and who, I always, poker is kind of a little narcissistic of a game, because you
have to have an ego to win. I mean, if you don't believe
you get pissed when someone calls you, and then with something, but then you turn around and you have your reasons for doing it yourself. I don't know, but the point is that I think like a lot of it's a male dominant field, has been, and we're slowly kind of, as females, catching up or whatever. I don't see myself as a woman in the game, even though I am, but
I mean, I've been playing with a lot of great female poker players lately, and shout out to Vanessa Cade and Alex Fox's wife, Christy Bicknell. I mean, I play with them. They play so good, But back in the day, I used to, like, if a woman was at my table, I didn't think they ever had the heart. A lot of them didn't have the heart to really bluff you. Now they do, and I always said that a woman poker player, I could teach if I ever worked with a woman poker player how to really play. I mean, and they have could put women could. If there was like a woman poker player that could talk a lot of shit and get under guys' skins, because the testosterone in guys, they can't stand losing to a woman. So if you could,
I do. I talk a lot of shit. So I have a mouth, and I have a mouth, and people that know me, they're like, my God, you like got balls, but and then other time, I have, like it doesn't matter who we are, we have to adjust into the felt, into our players. We have to adjust, period.
That's
so
just the game.
No matter how I may want to play, sometimes you can't, and but I've never reached the high stakes, which is maybe one day that'll occur. But I live in BFE, in the middle of no place. Like, we drive a long ways to go anywhere around here, but what I'm going to say about Helmuth, I do want to add this. What I was saying is that, like, when I see a lot of disrespect, or when I just see people being, pricks, and, I just see a lot of, there's a lot to be said for, I don't know, a man of character, right? Yeah. And when you encompass all of that, there's just a lot of, and I do believe it. I believe there's a lot of envious jealousy, and, like, I don't want to talk trash on persons, but I just felt when I saw that crap he was doing, I just felt like,
it was out of line.
Who does that? Unless but see, there's so many things that persons can never touch in life. The character, the titles, the, just the whole package thing. And, there's a lot of great players out there, yeah, and there's a lot of people in the limelight, but there's a lot of great players that nobody knows who they are. Then there's a lot of people that just don't seem to plug into the right outlets, I think you're plugging in good, and I'm really proud of you. I've watched you, for 15 years, okay?
Thanks.
And I think this man you've become and this player you've become today, I see something in you that I didn't see at all before, and I recognize it, and I always felt like, as I read into people, I always felt like you have this friend, Helmut, who's this positive influence in kind of your life, and so I see it.
No, it's very true, and people won't. My documentary will probably be coming out in 2 months, and it'll be on one of the streaming services, and people really get an idea of kind of what I've been through, how my injury affected me, and it made me. I'm a much better person today than I was 4 years ago, and I'm a much better person 4 years ago than I was 8 years ago. So, you try and become a better person. You try and learn from your mistakes. I mean, I got broke 9 times, and after the 3rd time, I said I'd never go broke again. But now there's 0 chance I can go broke this time. So,
right.
And again, that has a lot to do with Phil's positive influence, money management, game selection, always making sure I'm playing in a game where I'm going to win. You know what I'm saying? If I'm in the mental capacity or in a good spot, whether if he sets up the game or, I could play with the best in the world if I have to, but I've always been a believer that poker is about playing in games where you're always the best player, not where there's other people that play as good as you. If you're always a top 3 player in a game, you're always going to win. So I put myself in position to win at all times, and that's just what I do. I believe in my heart that when I'm in a game, I'm one of the top 3 players in the game at all times, and it's something that I stick to. The old Mike would just call down what's going on, how big a game we playing in the mixed game, who's playing. All right, I'll be right down. And I'd start 3-handed and play 4-handed, and I didn't care who I played with. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, did I win? I still won, but egos will break you, cards will make you. Put yourself in a position where you just want to be in a position where you're one of the top 3 players in the game at all time. It's really not a dick measuring contest. We got a lot of sayings in poker, like he who chases straights and flushes take the buses. But one of the things that a greedy player is always a broke player, and one of the things that when I started that I went through in one of my stretches was what I went through in that stretch was, where you recognize like the actual greedy individual versus the player versus. Oh, I've seen the greedy individual. We have people playing our game that are greedy. I win a lot in the game I play in, but I don't go in the game trying to beat the game for 50,000 every week. I try and
you can only take what the game gives you. That's really the bottom line.
And there's lots of times that I'll just take a small win, but see, the thing is if you're going to take lots of small wins, you can't take big losses. Okay, so if you're going to play in the game for 2 hours and you're going to win 8,000-9,000, okay, I mean you just can't lose more than 15,000 in a session. You just can't. So like I'll buy in for 10. And if I get stuck 5, I'll buy in 5 more because I like to play at least 10,000 deep. And if I get stacked, I say good game and I'm done for the night. And that is so opposite of how I played poker my whole life. I played poker my whole life. You know, if I got stuck, I would just play for 2 days. I didn't give a shit. I hated losing, you know. But the thing is the game will be there the next day. I've always told people this: when you're winning, stay as long as you can, because people fear you because you're running good, and then when you're running good, it allows you to steal a lot more pots. When you're running bad, people call you up. They don't think you have it. They think you're going to lose because you're running bad, and they call you down and they beat you. So you can't. It's tough to bluff when you're losing. It's real easy to bluff when you're winning. So you just got to stay level-headed, and that's what I try and do all the time. And
well, this is. I'm so happy to be on this call with your show and you right now, and I'm a big admirer of a handful of people that are out there, on the felt, that I actually spend my time, listening to everything they say and following as much as I can. I don't do that with many, but there's the few people that I do. I learn so much. I've heard you say, there's all these vlogs now, and I watch some of them, but everybody's making a vlog,
Yeah.
I mean, they are coming out of their.
Everyone has a podcast. Everyone has a vlog. That's my motto.
Well,
that's my motto. But
yeah, I mean, okay, they're going to give out. Okay, they have a vlog, but are they giving? I don't know. Just I feel like there's so much seasoning in poker, and in the world on the felt, in the world of cards, you wrap your whole brain around the deck, and then if you get separated from the deck, your brain falls apart, because all of a sudden, photographic memories in the shitter in your brain has nothing to do. And when you take a long, like you did with Flash, I'm going through that with Bleezy.
Yeah.
You get this long stretch, and when you've been playing all the time, and then all of a sudden it's like you slam on the brakes.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden your brain is whatever, it just kind of crashes. But then you come back in and things are quite a bit different in a lot of different areas, and you learn. And I mean, that's why, people that play, years and years and years, they learn so much, and they play so much, and they get better, or they get, or they don't.
That's a good point you just made. When Flash got sick, I stopped playing because I was afraid to take a big loss while Flash was sick, because I just didn't know how I was going to, because I was so affected by when he got sick, so I was getting out when I took 3-4 weeks off, and then I was jumping in games, and I was playing so weak tight. It was it's one thing to play tight, but you can't play weak tight. And I was just playing so weak, and I hated.
How do you play? How do you play without thinking about him?
Well, I was just worried about losing a big pot. Let's say I'm wrong and I run a big bluff and I lose 20,000. I just didn't want to. Because when you're playing poker, you got to be mentally engaged, and I really wasn't mentally engaged. I really loved the way I played. Like I said, I was down in Chicago. I thought Monday in the game in Lake Geneva House, I thought I ran terrible, but I did not like the way I played either. And then as the week went on, I thought by the Friday game, I thought I played fantastic on the Friday game. I mean, I flopped top set in the hand on a 5-8-9 board, came at 10 on the turn, and they checked it to me, and I checked back. And then he bet $3K on the river, and I said, I just know you got Jack Queen, right? I go, I got top set. I know you got Jack Queen. And they're looking at me like I'm crazy, right? And I wish I would. And I jokingly said, if I fold this hand, I said, you guys might never invite me back, because that's how good I am. I said it out loud. I said, I'll give you the. I said, I'll give you the $3K, and he showed me Jack Queen. and they're like, "How'd you know?" Da, 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 da. Well, that's the difference, you know. I don't need to fucking
That
count. I don't need to count combos. Oh, he's got 8 combos of this, 8 combos of ace queen, 6 combos of ace king. I don't need that.
Don't forget
okay?
to add in the blockers.
And the
wait,
blockers and
don't
all this
forget to
fucking
add.
bullshit.
We got 999 blockers.
I mean, everybody at the
72 over
table.
here. Nobody has a fucking read on anybody. Nobody's got their brain wrapped around the deck.
It's kind of like
and around the players.
Yeah.
No one knows what he's thinking or what he thinks you're thinking.
So I mean,
so like,
and like me and Phil talked about this, Hannah, you know, and he's like, you know, he told me, he said, Mike, you should have just quietly not said a word and just folded your hand and saved the 3K. He goes, because you know things that they don't know. And again, I'm not trying to say, you know, if I need to, I got to end this call because I got some more calls coming in. But you know, if I could just take what they know, put it into my game with my intuition and my instincts. I mean, I feel things when a card rolls off and I look at that person. I just feel it. I can't. You tell people, what do you mean you feel it? You know, well, it's called talent. Okay, it's intuition. Your intuition tells you what their hand is. I mean, I know people that don't believe in that shit. They don't understand it. But the best players in the world, their intuition. That's why Phil's as good as he is. You know, your intuition. Right. You got to follow your intuition, though. When I follow my intuition, I'm unbeatable. So, you know.
All right, you said you got to go,
yep.
Sean. I mean, I know I don't want to hang up, but
it's all good.
But before we hang up, I'm going to absolutely ask you to just tell us your most favorite memory of Flash, and I did want to know because I don't know. Unless I missed it somewhere listening, but also, how did you get Flash?
Okay, I'll hang up and I'll say it to you off the air. Thanks for the call.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah,
all right.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
So I got Flash, where my roommate Teddy found this cat with 6 kittens, and in a drainage ditch, and she saved them. And the kittens were like 3 days old. They were so tiny, and we put them in the house. They're under my bed, and after about a week, Flash would just come running out from under the bed, and he'd just come running out just like he always was, meow, 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 and then he'd look at us, then run back under the bed to his mom. And me and my friend Kevin were laughing because this cat was just talking. He was like, meow, meow, you know, just a little kitten. And I'm like, man, I go, maybe I'll keep this one. He goes, yeah, I think you should. And I go, well, what do I name him? And he's like, name him Flash. And I go, why Flash? He goes, because he's gone in a flash. Because he'd be like, in and out underneath the bed. And so that's where I got Flash. And then, you know, my favorite memory of him is, I mean, there's so many, but the funniest one I like to tell it, and my ex-girlfriend Jerry used to get so queasy whenever I tell it because, you know, she just doesn't understand that Flash was a mass murderer. Literally, he was the cutest cat ever, but he's a mass murderer. You know, he used to get out, sneak out of the house, run out of the house. I know the first 5 years of his life, I used to let him go out of the house. Him and Ace, number one, you know, they were best friends. They'd go out of the house, they'd hunt together, they'd come in, and he'd have birds in his mouth. And one time they had a mouse in their mouth, and I used to have to get the birds out of his jaw, and then they'd fly around my house, and I'd get the pool net and save them. And a couple times I thought I saved them. I walk out front, and there'd be a dead bird in front of my house. I mean, I felt so bad. But yeah, the true craziest, one of the craziest Flash stories is him and Ace. They came in. I think I've told the story before, but they came in. He came in, and he had a mouse in his mouth, right? And they brought it upstairs, and then Flash let it go. And him and Ace, number one, they would just chase it around, right? And then Flash would pick it up and put it in his mouth. I'm like, they're torturing the poor little mouse. I'm like, this is horrible. I'm like, I got to save this mouse. And then my best friend Ben was with me. He's laughing. He goes, no, this is funny. Just let it go, right? And they would just let the mouse down and chase it around. And finally, after 3 hours, which is a lot for a cat because they sleep like 18 hours a day, They got bored, and Flash just went and just ate it. And that was the end of the fucking poor little mouse. He tortured it for 3 hours, and then he ate it. Flash was a mass murderer, but he was truly the best cat any human could have. When I got home on Saturday, I cried like 6 times, and then Sunday like 2 or 3 times. I haven't cried since Sunday, which is good. I go through a little bouts, and then I see pictures of Flash around the house, and listen. It's tough. I think the extra 7 weeks that he lived really helped me get through it. Taking him to go put him down. I mean, that was truly the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I've never done anything so hard in my life. But Gizmo's come around, the little 2-year-old. So I was gonna kind of like chime in on that. So I was wondering how the dynamic of the house was going to change. So he had the 2 weeks he died. Once I was gone for 8 days and Flash wasn't here, it was pretty obvious the cats know that he's not coming back. I came home last Saturday. Ace is really, really struggling. He's just wailing away. He lays in this box. He doesn't move. But all of a sudden, Gizmo, the little 2-year-old, starts. I hear this meow, 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 meow. I'm like, what the fuck? And it's Gizmo at the bottom of the stairs, and now he's coming up on the bed like Flash did. Used to come up 20 times a day. And Gizmo's been coming up like 10 times a day and laying on me, and just like he did when he was the first 3-4 months of his life. So Gizmo is kind of like took the reins of the alpha male, where Ace is still in mourning. He's really struggling now. He's done a lot better today and yesterday, and hopefully as time goes by, he'll be okay. They said doctor says it could take up to 6 months, but we're coming up now on a month. It'll be a month on Friday. Hopefully he'll be okay, and I get more depressed when the cats get when I see Ace is struggling, because Ace had Flash since he was born, basically, and Flash has always kissed him and licked him and took care of him, and we always joked around that Ace is not going to make it without Flash because he's so stupid, but he's doing okay. But little Gizmo's doing good, and all the cats are doing good, and the little girl Kitty, she lays with me 18 hours a day, so that dynamic has changed. She used to lay with me about 6 hours a day, so I got 2 cats in the bed that after Flash died, the first 2 weeks I had none, and so I was really depressed. I really had to get out of the house. But now I'm getting like 2 cats a day, so, it's just the way it happens. Anyways, we'll take another call, 702-329-0480. Perfect timing. Welcome to the Mouthpiece, Mike. What up?
Hello.
What's up, buddy? Who's this?
Hey, my name's Griffin. Nice talking to you.
Hi, Griffin. Thanks for calling.
Thanks. I just wanted to ask you, what stakes do you think I should be playing, and why?
Okay.
Because now,
well, let's start off. Let's start off with this. What's your bankroll?
Well, that's the thing. I don't really have one.
Huh.
I make like $80,000 a year, but and
okay.
I have like.
What are you willing to? Here's a question. What are you willing to lose playing poker? How much money do you have to lose that you're willing to lose playing poker?
Willing to lose? Well, that's the problem. Is like, right now I go with 1,000 and play 1-2, and that's what I'm comfortable with. But
okay. Well, I mean, if you were, would you be comfortable if you lost $10,000?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay. So I think you should stick with 1-2, 1-3 until you have $10,000 willing to lose.
That's fair, but another thing that makes me want to do it more or go at higher stakes is I'm beating 1-2, 1-3.
Okay, so
consistently for like 2 to 3 years.
Well, then you should have some bankroll put away. Where's your money? What are you doing? Spending it?
Well,
gambling? What are you doing? Betting sports?
No.
You got a woman?
I am. Yeah, I do. But okay. I am saving.
Yeah, they're expensive. They're expensive.
another reason I don't have as much is I'm only 23,
Oh,
so
okay.
I just got out of school, and I got some student loans to pay off. I actually started with like 80,000, and now I'm down to like.
Hey, you're down
30.
to like 70. Didn't Biden just give you 10,000?
That's true, but yeah, now I'm actually down to like 30 in a year. So
Oh, okay, that's awesome. That's good.
I'm literally like just putting everything I have into that, and I also don't. This is kind of like for a year from now, because I probably won't get rid of that 30 from a year from now. But after that, I want to,
All right, let's put it this way: if you're playing 5-10, okay, you are going to win or lose 3,000 a day. Okay, if you're playing 2-5, you should be no more than 2,000 a day. Okay, 1-2, 1-3, you should be winning or losing 500 or 1,000 a day. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, I play 10, 20, 40. The most I ever lose in a day is 25,000, which is very rarely, mostly like 15,000. So that's 500 big blinds. So at 1-2, that's 1,000 a day. At 2-5, that's 2,500 a day, and at 5-10, that's 5,000 a day. See what I'm saying? So that gives you where you need to be. So the most you should ever lose in a day is 500 big blinds. That's the most.
Yeah,
ever.
I agree.
That's at a very bad day.
I do that with 1-2 right now, but like I said, once I get this, debt paid off in a year, so I think I'm going to consider like playing 2-5 or 5-10.
Well, there you go. And listen, if you win 1,000 a day 3 days in a row, right? You're up 3,000. Jump in a 5-10 game. Take a shot for the 3,000. Don't be afraid to lose it. You know what I'm saying? But if you run bad and you lose the 3,000, you got to go back down to 1-2. See what one of the biggest problems I used to do until like one caller, she made very good points, is Phil taught me money management and helped me out a lot. Is I'd take shots, and if I lost or if I won, I'd keep playing bigger. Then I'd win and I'd play bigger. Now all of a sudden I'd take a loss, instead of dropping back down, I'd stay playing bigger, and that's why I used to go broke all the time.
Right.
So
that makes sense.
So the key is if you win 3,000 playing 1 and 2, and there's a 5-10 game that looks pretty good, jump in it and take a shot, and don't be afraid. And if but you got to tell yourself, this is what I'm willing to lose. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's why I asked you, what are you willing to lose? Always tell yourself, what am I willing to lose? Okay? Because you have to be able to lose that and take your hands and say, it wasn't my day. Even the guy I watched, even on the hour long that I watched the Hustler stream last night, one guy took a shot for 100,000. He lost 100,000. He went, it wasn't my day. I took a shot, and it wasn't meant to be. Okay, well, there you go.
I don't understand how people are doing that at the even you see Garrett and Phil Ivey and all these big players playing with like $1 million, $500,000 in front of them. How do they have? They don't. There's no way they have $100 million behind.
No shit.
Do they really? Do they really have that? How are they doing that?
No. But let's just put it this way. Okay, so if you ask yourself. I don't think any of them have 10 million behind them. I just don't believe.
Yeah, not even 10, right? Yeah, exactly. And they have a 1%.
But
or
again,
10% of them in
let's
front.
just say Garrett sits down with $1 million, right? And let's just say he has 10 million, 8 million. We'll give him 8 million, right? And he loses. What did he lose? $250,000 last night. 4 and 8, that's 300 bigs. What did I tell you? So what's the most you're going to lose? 500 bigs, 400,000, right?
That's true. Yeah.
Okay. Now you ask yourself, you have 8 million behind you, 400,000. You got to lose 400,000 10 times. You think that you're, Ryan does a good job of making sure Garrett's in pretty darn good games, and he's just not going to. And he's a good player. I'm not knocking him whatsoever. I thought he was a little bit off last night, but I'm just saying it's nobody plays perfect every day.
Right.
Take the now let's just say he loses 400. Is he going to lose 400,000 10 straight times? And if he does that and he has 8 million, you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And Garrett's won a lot of money. I'm not saying he has 8 million. He could have less. He could have more. You know what I'm saying? I have no idea. But I've put myself in a position where Like I could lose 25,000 a day for 10 days and still be fine. You know what I'm saying? Even though if I lose 25,000 one day, I fucking want to jump ship. You know?
Yeah.
But it's all about money management. It's all about game selection, money management. If
So
you feel like the
as
game,
a recreational player, like I would consider myself, I have no like intentions or wants to be a professional player.
Yep.
Would you think it is smart for me to like I'm an IT professional, so like would you recommend me, like I was always thinking it would be cool to like move to Vegas and do IT, still make that my main job, but like just because I love playing the game so much and I live like an hour or two away from a casino.
If you want to play right now, $1, $2, $1, $3, and make a lot of money, you should not be in Vegas. You should move to Texas. Texas is where all the money is. Period. Whether it's Dallas, Houston, Austin, the small games in Texas is a free $10,000 a month if you have any clue how to play poker. Literally a free $10,000 a month. It's like impossible to not make $10,000 a month right now. Now, 2 years from now, can't tell you. Right now, you can go pick up yourself $10,000 a month if you have any idea how to play poker. So that's all I can tell you.
Cool.
All right, my man.
All right.
I appreciate the call. You have a great weekend.
All right, you too.
All right,
thanks for the advice.
All right, so I am going to answer this question about Men the Master, what he used to pull. So back in the day, and I'm not going to name any names, but men would, there would be like 325 people in a poker tournament. Men would stake about 100 of them. And he would put whenever he was low on chips, he'd put any of his horses were at the table that had chips. He would literally put a chip in each corner of the card to tell him how much he needed or which one of the players at the table needed to give him chips. And that's how he won 3 straight California State Poker Championships. Those were the things I know for sure he did. With that said, he was and still might be one of the top stud tournament players in the world. He's got 6 bracelets, 5 of them in stud. But unfortunately, his behavior should keep him out of the Hall of Fame. So, that's about all I can say. Anyways, I'm getting to get out of here. The Cincinnati Bengals tonight is free money. Okay, they are going to win this game. If you want to lay the money line 2-1, I don't like laying it. I think you should. If you could get it a 3.5 somewhere and buy it down to 3, I think you should. I don't think it's going to be close. 31-10, Bengals, Thursday Night Football. There you go. I'll see you all next week. My pick of the week this week, the Bengals tonight and the Detroit Lions on Sunday. Let's see what we'll do. Hopefully I'll go 5-0 this week in the Circa contest and be 16-4 after 5 weeks. That would be so impressive. I'll talk to you all later on the Mouthpiece. Have a great, great, great weekend. Thanks for all the calls.
The Mouthpiece.